Hi there, it's Wendy from Ask the Landlady, and I'm here with all the tips and tricks to help you make a profit in real estate rentals. And today's question is, should I accept Section 8 or HUD housing vouchers? Some landlords and landladies are afraid of accepting HUD payments or vouchers that tenants can get from various governmental agencies. I've even started to see billboards in big cities where they're like, landlords, landladies. They should say landladies. They usually always say landlords, or property owners maybe. Usually they say landlords, but we're landladies out here too. Anyway, they'll have these big billboards out there saying, contact us for, we need more HUD facilities for tenants out there. And so there's these big calls to action on the billboard. So that's telling me that some people are afraid to deal with the government programs. And certainly going through COVID, there were a lot of government programs, and it made people a little leery possibly to do that. Now in my town, we actually have an agency, Community Action, that handles several different voucher programs from the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development. Some are just short-term emergency ones that just pay a security deposit and 1 or 2 months rent. So those are ones you're going to be aware of. You need to make sure that that person has an income after that emergency assistance, right? It's not out 2 months, boom, crash and burn. So there is that type of voucher program. Another one is more long-term and it's income-based. So maybe on a $600, rent, the HUD will pay $400 and the tenant needs to pay $200 based on his or her income. We also have some other nonprofits like a women's shelter and some other agencies and nonprofits that provide some vouchers for short-term rental assistance with rent. So there's pros and cons, obviously, to entering all of these programs. For example, to get the federal rent subsidies, you need to open up your unit to an inspection by HUD, by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The inspector will actually come and make sure you have everything up to code. If you fail for something, like say in your bathroom that you don't have a working fan there in the bathroom, then you can mediate that. You can put one in, and they can come back and re-inspect, and you're back in motion there. So if that's something you want to do, just be aware that you will be working with an outside inspector, and there are certain regulations that they have in place that maybe your county or municipality doesn't require a bathroom fan or a window in every bedroom, but HUD will. So that's something that you need to be aware of when you enter into that agreement, that you will have to do that inspection. Now you have a choice. If they come in and say you got to do this, this, and this, you don't want to, then you can simply say, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to make this a HUD apartment. But in general, I think most of our guidelines are just wanting things safe, which we always do for our tenants, and clean, and that's something we all want to do as well. So that's just something that you need to be aware is that you will have to have those things in place to qualify well. In addition, another thing that's a little different with HUD vouchers is that you have to provide 60-day notice. So maybe, like say I'm in the state of Ohio. Ohio revised code only requires me to give 30-day notice of, say, not renewing a lease or giving a rent increase. Now, however, my clients who receive HUD vouchers and the rent subsidies, I must give them 60-day notice of any of those issues. So that's something you need to keep on your calendar and be aware of, because if you miss that window of time, you're going to enter in another year contract at that rent because you missed that time when you could increase the rent on the 60-day window. So those are just some things that when you go to do that you need to be aware of. The pros for me for dealing with the HUD voucher systems is, number one, guaranteed income. Government pays me on time every month. Thankfully, recently they were talking about a government shutdown and we didn't have it because I guess that'd be the only time. But other than that, it's direct deposit in there. So that's something you don't have to worry about. And number two, in my town, many people obtain these vouchers. It's just something that a lot of people have. So it's a ready market for me to keep my units rented. And since most people want to keep their vouchers because that's a commodity. If somebody's paying $600 a month for your rent, you don't want that to crash and burn and lose that voucher because you're it's just money they're freely given. So that is some impetus for them to keep the places nice and try to stay long term, and that keeps the cost down for us by having somebody stay there that's taking care of the unit. We do seasonal inspections of all our units, so we're already doing that, but the HUD inspector also comes once a year, and if housekeeping is out of order, the tenant can lose their voucher. The tenants then have a little bit of incentive to work with you and keep that unit nice and safe. My main caution to you is, if you decide to accept these voucher programs, is to have a good relationship within the agencies. The staff can answer all your questions, and if you have a good relationship, they're going to work with you to try to keep the tenant-landlady relationship healthy and strong. So that's the number one thing, is to just work well with that staff and have that do that. So we're all in this together. Hit subscribe and tell me, do you take care of any vouchers or do any HUD voucher programs? I'd love to hear what your experience has been. It's been relatively good for me, but we're all in this together. It's not easy being a landlord or a landlady in today's day and age, so I'd love to go on this journey with you together. So hit subscribe so we can keep doing this, and definitely get out there and buy my book. It's on my website, askthelandlady.com, or also on Amazon. It's called Lessons from the Landlady. Lessons from the Landlady. So you can do an easy search for that. Thanks, and have a great day.